Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to series number 2 of day 1 in week 5 of BTL season 15. I am joined by the old sad boy, and today we have LRE versus Spectre Gaming. How are you, old sad boy?
I'm good. I'm good. Looking forward to this one. I haven't seen these. Actually, I haven't seen LRE this season. I have seen Vector, so I'm pretty hyped to see LRE. I see a lot of names I've seen before, know before. So I hope this is gonna be real exciting.
All right, glad to hear it. This is my match of the week. I normally talk about my match of the week on the Friday streams that I do for power rankings, but there was no stream this Friday, sadly. But this is the match to be looking out for. This is the most intense match of this week. And it started us off with LRE getting that Draven, Alawi, and Diana ban, while Spectre Gaming has opted for the Tristana, Zaya, and Cassante. So both teams coming in strong. Bans went by pretty fast, so they both seem to have an idea of what they're trying to do. LRE taking some power off of Vimstat, who Vimstat and Learning, if you don't know, is Spectre Gaming's prize of their team, basically. If those two players are on top of their game, it's GG. Whereas LRE plays a lot through your bad connection, and we see the double 80 carry bans, so you know that Spectre Gaming is really focused on that.
Yeah, that is very, very true. Your bad connection also taking that Sivir famously, as we mentioned. I think it was me and Ito were talking about it on the last time I was here last week. Your bad connection has very specific ideas of how League should be played. So I think those bans are definitely targeted over, he's expressed it on the interviews a couple times on how he thinks team cops should be constructed. So those bans are literally like the things he says that would be great. So I think Spectre Gang is doing a really good job already, at least acknowledging, hey, we know who we're playing against, we know what they're going to play, so let's go ahead and get those bans out as they pick the Jinx and the Maokai as well.
Yeah, 100%. And their only downfall to that way of thinking is you kind of like restrict what your team can do a lot of the times. But if that is your strong suit for your team, then by all means play that way. However, I definitely think that games have multiple ways to be played. We have a lot of versions of comps. You have poke comps, you have full engage comps, you have team fight comps, you have reaction comps. So there's a lot of different ways to do it, but LRE has a very specific way that they like to play, like you're saying, and that's what SG has targeted. LRE is going to lock in the Nocturne and Shin, a super powerful combination of laners, a great way to keep servers safe, and a great way to start fights. Whereas Maokai, on the opposite side, more of a reactionary jungler. He can start his own fights with his ultimate, but 9 times out of 10 he's using that to peel back and give Jinx some space. And Jinx and Sivir, two extremely hyperscaling 80 carries. Both want about 3 items before they really start popping off. I definitely think that the ceiling is higher for the Jinx just because of the Get Excited passive. But how do you think about that 80 carry matchup?
I think so as well. I think Jinx does have the potential in a team fight to go harder, we will say. Once they gets excited. That said, Sivir, of course, can still, with the ricochets, do extreme amounts of damage both
100%.
to your back line by hitting your front line.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to have direct access. On top of which, if it's not a team fighting adventure, Sivir, of course, famous for just shoving all the waves, or vice versa, can literally stall out a game an extra 10 minutes just by nature of being Sivir. So I think that's really good for LRE. And again, you said the Nocturne and the Shin, and that still kind of plays into what they like to take, which is, we have an AD damage and a tank.
Yeah.
As your bad connection mentioned, most of the time it's kind of the other way around, where it's a bruiser or a diver in the top lane. And we've seen a lot. Last split we saw Jordan on a lot of Amumu duty, but also on Kindred with a different a tankier top laner. So that is their kind of trade of who's going to be the damage, who's going to be the sword, who's going to be the shield, I think, between the top and jungle. But to your point, and to kind of address it, I agree there's tons of ways to win a game, but also if you throw a 102 mile an hour fastball you maybe don't need to work on developing
Yeah.
a knuckleball.
Yeah,
Just
100%.
saying.
Yeah, I'm hoping here to see out of SG. Dr. Dad is a support, so he's not really known for it, but I would like to see like something like the Lulu support to pair with this Jinx. Nocturne is a little bit scary for LR or for SG if Nocturne can get a lead because Jinx has no way to get that champion off of her, and there Maokai doesn't really peel Nocturne very well because of the spell shield, and Orianna can't be focused on the Nocturne at all times. But it looks like that could be a potentially Maokai support or Maokai top because with that Jarvan lock-in. So Jarvan Orianna, another super powerful Wombo combo. So both teams really digging in for the team fight. So we're going to have some bloody fights, some explosive fights. And it's really going to come down to who's positioning better and what carry survives the longest.
Definitely going to come down to that with both of the junglers, or at least the potential junglers, looking to dive in. We haven't seen. Oh, it is.
That is Dr.
Oh
Dad's
my
rel taken
gosh.
away.
No, 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 no. Hang on. Am I bad mathing it? No, it is going to be a rel support. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I thought there was. For a second, I just thought we were going to go back to the Nocturne mid to the Dark Ages, literally. But yeah, the rel's most likely going support, and we do get the Milio, which will be able to buff up Jinx's attack.
Yeah,
rate.
it's still
Oh,
a little
no.
bit it's still a little bit interesting though because Milio, yes, can stop the rel, can stop the Shin, but again, not a champion that is very good at stopping Nocturne, and Jinx is going to struggle this game if SG falls behind. So they really got to keep tabs on where the Nocturne is, make sure that his ultimates in the early game don't pay out, because if this Jinx dies, all of your damage is left on Orianna, and I mean, LRE has a great way to hit Orianna without actually ever getting the threat of the ball, just because of the Sivir range with the ricochets, the Ziggs poke. Like, it's going to be tough for SG.
Absolutely. On top of which, in the early game, or early to mid game, the threat of a Nocturne Shin dive onto your bot lane or even onto your mid lane is astronomical and terrible, because that turns a 2v2 into a 4v2 or even a 3v2 into a 4v2, where you were winning until you weren't, and everybody shows up, on top of which there's literally not a lot you can do to prevent it from happening. That could be disastrous for SG, just because you can't, like you said, the Milio's not going to have a great time peeling off the Nocturne. There's a little bit of a knock up. There's, with the ultimate, effectively a Mikhail's, but there's not going to be something if Nocturne is just there with a Shin. Somebody's hitting. Somebody's going to CC the ADC, and then it's going to be bad times.
Yeah. The only hope that Jinx has is through what's it called? Guardian's Angel, which though you won't see that until like 4th item, sadly, just because of the nature of the champion. So now that we have a look at both comps, and obviously they're doing the same thing, they're just full committed to this team fight. But who do you have the edge to? Taking names off the players, obviously.
I think LRE has a better, a better missile, right? If we both have nukes, and
but my nuke
the
shoots
range
faster.
The range of my ICBM is the whole Pacific Ocean, and you can only shoot it from 200 miles out. Yeah, we can both die, but you got to get close to me first, or closer. And I think as long as LRE doesn't fall super far behind or get caught meandering about, basically, they should be able to win the team fights just by nature of having the access to the back line, having the ability to effectively say, Jinx isn't in this fight. Okay, it's a 4v5.
I definitely agree. LRE's comp is a little bit easier in terms of them doing the same thing, but SG does have the higher ceiling. I think that SG's comp can do a lot more if given the opportunity, so it's really going to come down to how well LRE can pull the trigger and how quickly that they can get rid of the target champions on SG. But if those target champions do survive the initial engage, it's going to turn around fast. You have the Orianna Shockwave, you have the Jarvan Cataclysm to keep the carry stuck in there with them, and if Jinx doesn't die, Jinx is going to have a lot of explosive damage with the Orianna and the Jarvan. but I am going to give the edge to LRE for game number 1.
Absolutely, absolutely. The unsung hero currently that could be very well sung by the end, though, is that in the side lane, if Maokai can manage to keep vision of the Shin
Yeah.
anytime they think something is happening, even if the lights go out, if you can just keep vision of the Shin, you can interrupt the Shin ultimate and change the entire plot of the play. Yeah. 100%. Exactly. So I think that's going to be a very big thing they have to work on, or watch for, I should say. And then on the other side, though, there's also that SG. SG also has a wombo that can. I mean, what am I going to say? Does do more damage, right?
Yeah.
If Jarvan and Ori are correctly positioned, everything works out well. 2 people die. That's it. Right? Like Sivir and Ziggs, or Sivir and Rel potentially. I mean, in theory, if you execute well, Sivir and Ziggs should always be 600 units apart.
Yeah.
But that never happens. It's never that coordinated. You know, we are not JDG. We don't have world-class team fighting positioning. And even then, if you saw the games this morning, they didn't either half the time. So there is always the possibility that Jarvan and Orianna just go, boop, we win. We won the team fight.
Yeah, 100%.
Cool. So, you know, like you said, SG has tools. It's just there's kind of, it's going to be really interesting to see how each team is playing around, like, okay, so we have to watch for this, so we have to watch for that, we have to make sure we're here. And again, and the other thing is that it's really hard to side lane when there's a Jarvan Shin, or not Jarvan Shin, excuse me, a Nocturne Shin, because even if you're safely side laning, the rest of your team is applying pressure properly. It just takes Nocturne to see you and see them one time to go, cool, boop.
Yeah.
They're dead. That's cool. You know, whatever lane pressure or wave pressure you had with your Maokai or with your Orianna or whoever it was that was just trying to, you know, reset a lane, it doesn't happen now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to send it off to a break while we load into the Rift. We will be back in approximately 2 to 3 minutes. So don't go anywhere and get ready for game number 1 between Lexi's Rat Emporium and Spectre Gaming.
Invincible. Back from the dead.
All right, we are loaded onto the Rift for game number 1 between Spectre Gaming and Lexi's Rat Emporium. Old sad
I
boy, are
have
you ready?
not loaded in
Oh,
at all. I'm
oh,
at 0% in spinning.
uh-oh. Well, we'll wait for you to load in before, but also pause at 10. I don't know if you got that message.
Yep.
No. What do you want me to call you, by the way? Old sad boy, sad boy,
You can also call me Rodney,
Rodney?
or
Okay.
you can, of course, just call me the greatest silver player you've ever seen.
All right. Well, while you were waiting for you to load in, let's take a look at the summoner spells. So there only is one mismatch this game. Rel has opted to take Ignite, whereas Milio took the heal. Both top laners taking grass, so a lot of fighting is going to be happening up there to secure some extra health possibly. And
Okay.
learning
There we go. Loaded in.
Learning went with Phase Rush. Something very interesting on Orianna that I've been seeing a lot more. But we will get into that once we are all synced up. So you're at 10 seconds?
Am loaded. And it, yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1, 11, 12, 13.
Yep.
All right.
Good to go.
But yeah, Orianna taking Phase Rush versus something like the Electrocute to gain some lane priority and stuff. I've been seeing it a little bit more just because Phase Rush has been notably not touched as much as the other keystones. So very interesting pickup there.
It's actually a double reason. One, Ori getting 3 hits on anything is not difficult to see happening. And of course, you always want lane mobility or any sort of mobility with effectively a immobile mage, but it's also because a lot of the keystones for damage were nerfed in 1320. So it's just because you're not getting as much damage off Electrocute, you're not getting as much damage off of Comet or Airy. Phase Rush becomes more viable because you're not getting that extra 100 damage every trade, especially early game. So being able to dodge, say, that Q right there, but later on, is going to be way more valuable now. That is why it spiked.
Yeah, 100%. It did get nerfed. Are we in 13.21?
I think we are.
Yeah, it did get a slight nerf, but it's still nothing compared to what the damage ones got nerfed. But we have seen... oh, sorry.
I don't know if you're getting getting the visual bug as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The 9999. It is very
Zig's doing insane level 1 damage, but only to the terrain.
Yeah, we have seen Last Shyvana on Ziggs before, and he absolutely performed immaculate on it. So I'm glad to see him back on the champion, and he's already started to get some pretty solid poke on the learning. It's definitely a champion to be careful of, especially with Ziggs being one of the highest DPS champions in the game, just because of the amount of damage his Qs are rocking.
Yes, that is very true. I don't like this trade that Swag engaged in up top. Shen, notoriously one of the stronger and under-respected level 2, level 3 champions.
Yeah, we do have a little bit of a spicy. He's W'ing in there. I think he's just trying to get his passive proc as often as possible. But Vinsat is looking bot while Swagasm is getting a little bit dusted in the top side. Can Vinsat turn a play down here? He gets stunned by Red Strike, but is just going to call off the play while Swagasm is a little bit in the struggle bus on the top side.
Yeah, like I said, just the amount of damage that can be put out there. And you see your bad connection.
Ooh, yeah. That's a Summoner Spell trade in the bot side. But sorry, back to what you're saying.
Oh no, I was just saying that again, Shin is able to just produce so much more damage than you anticipate even when you know, and also did get a buff in 1321. Shout out to Xpetu and the Shin main Reddit for basically boycotting the champion until Riot gave Shin some love. They missed the cannon.
Does he need love though? That champion is a little bit insane for what he can do.
I mean, there's long video essays on what was wrong that I didn't quite understand, other than that, like, the nature of the champion is not what it should have been, which possibly true. But yeah, Riot actually listened to a Reddit of mains saying
Oh,
that,
we
hey,
do have a little
my
bit
champion.
of a gank on Lasha. Lasha has to pop flash to dodge the EQ there. Great rotations here by Vimsat, but Vimsat could be caught out here by Jordan. Jordan gets the fear onto Vimsat. He's going to have to flash away. The flash by Jordan to follow up, but does not connect the fear, and that's going to allow Vimsat to get away.
Yeah, the red buff just barely not enough. Lived with about 50 or 60 health maybe, so very tough. You do see the sustain difference coming in now. Dr. Dad, of course, on the Milio, able to keep Paint Liquor relatively healthy and significantly healthier than your bad connection.
Yeah. And also your bad is pretty low on mana. Silver, one of those champions, is super mana dependent in the early games, just because of the need to constantly be wave clearing. So it's going to be a little bit of a struggle in the bot lane until they start getting some items under their belt, or if Jordan can get some pretty insane ultimates. We'll just have to see, though. She did get the double scuttle and has a 20 CS lead on the Jarvan right now, so Jordan is sitting in a pretty decent spot, and that's, I know that all the Jordan fans out there love to see it.
The chat. The funny thing is how many people in the chat say that if there's no Jordan fans, they're dead. And I'm just like, you can't all be the biggest fan. Like that can't mathematically work. I mean, I guess if they're all tied.
Yeah. All right.
But
we do have a little bit of a fight happening in the top side of W by the Maokai to root the Shin. And now Vimsat is here. He is ready. He is posed. Nocturne is not here. He does not hit the knock up. A nice, another flash burnt. Vimsat,
and he already used the teleport to get back to lane.
Yeah, Vimsat's doing work. He's getting a lot of these early summoner
no.
spells down for a lot of repeat ganks.
I don't like that Q there by Swagasm, honestly. The wave basically was going to push back into him, and Shin, already taken a little low, had to at least been worried. It still evens out, so it's fine. But I thought it was really going to be one of those things where he might have screwed himself on the wave, but it is still going to push back. I think he's trying to just wanted to get the cannon before the back,
Oh,
and he's not going to get
the
it.
cannon? Oh, he stepped up. He gets taunted. So Medusi General is trying to get the solo kill. Can he get the first blood? He doesn't have the flash. Maokai does. Maokai gets the root, and that is going to be Swagasm living with just 1 HP.
Very tough, very tough. But yeah, I'm going to say I was right, but not for the right reason. Definitely should not have queued the wave. Should have just backed and teleported back because you're going to anyway. But now you miss out on like an extra 6 minions basically with that fight. That said, it has been Vimsat being very active and is on the dragon now, trying to utilize the early game advantage that Jarvan should have over Nocturne. Granted, Nocturne is a level up right now.
Yeah, and that's just due to the fact that Nocturne has been able to steal camps. I think Nocturne stole the Raptors. He got Jordan got both of the scuttles, so that's a huge XP lead into that. But that's gonna be Lashavana's ult popped and learning surviving with just about 50 HP. And this game is just fight after fight. Both junglers doing work on the map.
But nobody dies. That's the crazy part. That is the third time we've seen somebody survive under 100 health and just be like, I'm fine. Vimsat even goes right back to farming, doesn't even worry about, oh no, I don't know if you could stay there.
Yeah, learning
That's
is
tough.
Trying to be a little greedy here. He doesn't want to lose this whole wave, but you run the risk of dying if you don't just give this wave. Like, the poke is coming in. He's managing to dodge the Qs, but both of LRE's bot lane is going to be moving up for this Herald play while Ziggs backs and most likely goes bot. So that should be the Herald priority going over to LRE right now.
It is definitely going to be, and again, this is another one of those your bad connection trademark plays, almost like, what was it, Season 7, Season 8 Immortals?
Yeah.
8 minutes, automatically, my bot lane will be mid, and we will be rotating for this Baron. Literally like clockwork, and on top of which with a Shin, if a fight does break out, can be there. The only thing I don't like about this is that, again, it leaves this Jinx to free farm. Jinx already up 2 plates, getting very close to another and getting a lot of damage in.
Yeah.
That's my only worry, is that allowing Jinx to get that sort of free rain could wind up being a problem later.
Yeah, and Jinx picking up these 2 plates here, about to be a third, basically evens out the Herald loss there. Like, yeah, they get the Herald gold, but that's 3 plates, and Herald typically is only good for about 2 plates, if that. So, however, they can pair it with the Zig, so there's a lot of potential that the Herald becomes a lot more, but as of right now, the gold advantage off of that cross-map play is in Spectre Gaming's advantage. And now the Maokai pops ult onto La Shyvana, but the Shinnel is going to drop down as well with the Nocturne on the way. It's now a 3v2. They got a little ambitious, and that's going to be first blood going over to La Shyvana.
Yeah, that's exactly what... That's the plan.
Yeah.
That's the whole plan.
Oh, we do have a fight. Yeah, Dread Strike dropped the Magic Sword on top of Paint Licker. Paint Licker might not be able to get away. Your back connection is out of mana. Paint Licker had to flash while getting ignited. So that's going to keep him alive for now. And, I mean, Jinx got 4 plates there for that play. So that is a kill and 2 big ultimates for 4 plates on top of this Jinx. If we take a look at the gold right now, Jinx is sitting at about 500 gold lead over the Sivir alone. So it is going to be dangerous.
Very much so. That said, the first blood did go to La Shyvana, which is, again, always good. You have the Rift Herald, so you should be able to get first tower, but now it's kind of sped up on the time frame for when you want to do it, because after this back, Jinx is going to come back with most likely the Kraken Slayer, and is going to be able to just eat that tower if you don't make a move quickly.
Yeah, 100%. As soon as this Jinx back, she has the money in her pocket to get this this Kraken Slayer and potentially like an extra dagger on top of that. So it is looking good. And if Jordan can't find these ultimates onto her or commit to the kill and secure it, it's going to be dangerous.
Absolutely. On top of which, Swag is super low with no mana. Yeah, you're going to have to back, friend.
Yeah, he's just trying to secure this plate.
Oh.
I think Badissi is being a little... I felt like Badissi could have pressured them off this wave, but he's going to give the wave over to the Mordekaiser. And that's going to be the Kraken completed on the Jinx with boots to pair with it. So things are looking good for both teams.
I definitely thought Shin was going to at least get a plate there on that cannon wave. Maybe be afraid, but they saw the Jarvan that was bot lane.
It is risky to overextend on a tower against the Maokai. The Maokai was out of mana, but I believe he had enough to root him with the W. So maybe he was a little bit scared to, like, if he accidentally hit Maokai, then he could get turned on. But now we have oh, no, never mind.
It looks like the backs are coming in from everyone looking to set up for this dragon. We do see Maokai walking down because Maokai does not have the teleport. Shin does have teleport, but not Stand United. That is going to be some gold, but only Jordan got the gold.
Oh, Jordan got engaged on by Vincent. Vincent got the knockup. Jordan had to flash, but the Paranoia is going to get dropped to try to get out of the Cataclysm, but it's not going to be enough. That's 1 kill going over to Paint Licker. Paint Licker is excited. He's on top of Red Strike while La Shyvana is getting mowed down by the Jarvan Orianna combo. That's going to be 2 for none. And now Paint Licker is even more excited. He's getting more. He's trying to get a third. He gets a third. He has 3 excited procs, and that's Badissi General ulting and dying. And that's going to be an ace for 1, and the Dragon going over to Spectre Gaming.
And the triple kill on the Orianna, too. That is not good.
Yeah.
LRE absolutely wiped off the map, and it's not even... Oh, it's late game Jinx going crazy. It's 1 item Jinx going crazy.
I felt like Jordan kind of preemptively dropped her flash there, and that allowed the Cataclysm to keep her locked in there. She had the Shin ult. I think she just got a little bit like nervous.
The Shin ult wasn't up.
Oh, it wasn't. Oh, that's right. Oh, that's why she flashed. Okay, makes so much more sense now. All right, well then that was just Spectre Gaming playing it pretty well, and this could be the first tower dropping to Paint Licker. Paint Licker's getting a little greedy though. Now your back connection has the Shin ult on him, and that's gonna be the ghost. But the double root by the traps for Paint Licker to get out. What a huge E.
Oh, and Dr. Dad's able to dodge the not leap strike.
The boomerang
charge?
Or the relic charge. I don't remember what that's called, but I know what you're talking about.
I think it's some sort of leap, but I might be wrong. Shattering strike. That's why I said leap strike. That makes sense. I'm not going crazy. It's a strike, not a leap. But either way, that is going to be at least a plate going to be taken by your bad connection and red strike at least. But Vimstat looking at La Shyvana again. That shockwave is up already. Yikes, friend. Oh, you could have got another plate there, bot lane. I don't like that. You're
Yeah.
leaving money on the table.
All right, so I feel like Vimstat should be playing bot side right now, even though his top side is spawning, just so that they can secure this first tower because the enemy team has the Ziggs. But we'll have to see. Paint Liquor is strong, like along with Learning, so he needs to be playing for the mid and bot right now. Let Maokai absorb that pressure and be the tank that he needs to be.
That is true, but it looks like it's not going to matter.
Yeah, that's going to be first tower dropped over to the Jinx. And now we
there's
have
the 14-minute Rift Herald play.
Yeah.
But Stand United, again, going to be down. Going to have still almost half the cooldown available, so that is not going to be available for LRE.
Yeah, and it's a pretty big cooldown, especially when your entire comps relies on you getting to this Jinx, getting to this Orianna, and securing these kills. And if you don't have the way to protect your Nocturne or your Rel for going in for those plays, it's going to allow Jinx to get excited.
It absolutely is. I think that's why the Rift Herald rotation just kind of fizzled out. That said, they're sharing the gold and the XP in the mid lane while the bot wave is pushing in.
It's a little interesting there. And now Swagasm getting a nice trade onto Badussi. Badussi cannot keep up with the damage anymore that Swagasm has, but now we have an engage. The Paranoia gets dropped. The Paranoia goes on to the Jarvan. The Jarvan is going to die while Learning is trying to 1v1 the Last Shyvana, and Paint Liquor is trying to run right now. Last Shyvana does die to Learning, but Paint Liquor is going to die in return, so that's going to be a 2-for-1 trade in favor of LRE.
Yeah, and the shutdown going over to the Nocturne, going to make that dive even more effective. Very nicely done, though, by Learning. Did flash in, basically, to make sure they got the kill under tower and get out.
Yeah, the only misplay there is I felt like Vimstat had about 3 people trapped inside his Cataclysm with him. Like, yeah, he's going to die, so maybe Learning should have paired the Shockwave with that instead of solo Shockwaving Last Shyvana, but at least he got something.
He was also not that close, though. Vimstat was far away at the time the Cataclysm went down.
Oh, okay.
Like, kind of over the wall in the, like, little corridor there.
Yeah.
And he was, Learning was on the other side of the wall, may not have been in range. That's my only thought.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential for them not being in range here. But Vimstat is now hovering Paint Liquor while they are trying to push in this mid wave, but Sivir's going to be able to catch the wave. And Vimstat could be in danger here. He got caught by Jordan. Jordan popped the Stridebreaker to slow him along with the Fear, and now Vimstat is in danger. He has to EQ the wrong way. Can he escape? The Mega.
There's the Ziggs Bomb.
Yeah, the Ziggs Bomb does drop, gets him super low, and I think Jordan's going to be able to chase here. He's so fast, especially with Rel. But another EQ coming out, and that's going to be Badussi dropping the TP. He barely made it in time. Vimstat is still being chased, and Jordan's got to give that up. So I'm surprised he got out of that.
I am as well. The next dragon is also coming up. Again, the Rift Herald was never taken. And there's still 3-4 members on this mid tower again for LRE.
Yeah.
They never really reset the bot lane. So now there's a level difference in the mid lane, and it should be about half a level
Dad
difference.
in the wrong position has to pop the flash to try to get away. And that's going to be a pretty big summoner and ult.
Yeah, that Breath of Life being down is going to be a problem because the next fight, obviously, they're going to try to get onto Learning.
It's right
or
now.
Paint Liquor.
And that's going to be Paranoia dropped onto Learning. Learning is going to get chased. He is going to get feared. And this could be Learning dying. He couldn't get the Shockwave off in time. Swagasm tried to help, but it wasn't enough. And now, without the Paranoia, though, they still have a chance here. Paint Liquor is strong as long as they can avoid the poke and get a decent engage. That's going to be a flash ward along with Magnus Storm by Red Strike and a huge Ziggs Bomb to get a 4-man ult. And that's going to be 2 dead. That is going to be devastating for Spectre Gaming.
On top of which, the taunt from Shin got 3 more. Literally nobody moved until half of them were dead there. Very, very nice team fight by LRE. They're finally going to go collect that bot lane.
All right, so things need to calm down for Spectre Gaming. I feel like they're trying to jump the gun too much. They have scaling power, just like LRE, and they need to be using that to the maximum efficiency.
That is true. Their carries are technically stronger than the carries on LRE right now, though.
Yeah. All right, Swagasm's looking for more, but Badissi gets over the wall, and he's going to pop the blast cone. But now Badissi's
on
a
the
little
wrong
bit
side.
in a troubled spot. Vimstat's looking. Vimstat's got a nice Cataclysm, but the Shockwave only hits one. It only hits Jordan. Vimstat, what are you doing? You have a Shin that's free to kill, and you go for that?
I think he thought they could get more, but that was the flash from your bad connection to get out of the Wombo. And once that happened, the only person they had trapped in there was the Rel, and it's like, okay, or no, excuse me, was
Jordan,
the Nocturne,
yeah.
who was able to spell shield at least the Dissonance coming out. So 30% of the damage never happened.
All right, but they will be able to pick up a mid tower here, and that's going to crack open the entire map here for Spectre Gaming. So there's still things to look for, still things to do. The next objective will be Baron, but I don't think either team is really looking for a 20-minute Baron at this stage in the game.
I don't want to rule it out, but yeah, I don't think either of them feels that comfortable right now. That said, the wards around Baron are very much in favor of Spectre Gaming. There is a singular
Pink
Vision ward placed by LRE, but otherwise there's 3 up there, some dead wards or almost dead wards as well. Actually, only one of them is almost dead. Yeah, there's a lot of vision from Spectre up around this Baron. So if they can at least pretend, but I don't know how much they're
or
gonna
Red
play
Flag
for
walked
it.
right into Swagasm, but nothing. All right, jumped the gun a little bit there.
Yeah, there's enough escape tools. She'll be fine. She'll be fine.
Stand United is up, Paranoia is up, and now Red Strike's going to go right back into Swagasm, but he took a fight a little bit too rough. That's going to be the Shin ulti, but it's not going to be enough. Oh, but the Swagasm gets it, and now there's going to be a chase. Sivir pops the ultimate to make sure her team can get away, and this could be a potential Baron opening, at least to force a fight while they have numbers advantage.
Yeah, and again, all of that vision, that pink ward literally shut off the vision in there. Very nice taunt from the Shin, but I don't know if that's going to be it. No. Just kind of remind them that you're there, that you can do stuff. That said, Orianna's on the bot side, and Orianna can take this tower. The passive does, of course, apply magic damage to
gonna be
autos.
Shin's TP burned.
I mean, does still have the Stand United available, so can still join the fight.
Paint Liquor taking a beating from the Ziggs poke.
I mean, that's just Ziggs.
Yeah,
there's not a lot you
disgusting.
can do. He's got 6 stats on the Dark Seal already as well. And I don't know how you're feeling, but I think this would be one of those games where instead of the Shadow Flame, you get the quick death cap. There's only one person building magic resist right now.
Yeah.
You maybe can just take that extra damage and ride with it.
It's a little bit interesting though, because Shadow Flame is very good at killing squishies, because the HP threshold for maximum flat pin that you get is only 1400. If you look at the HP bars of everyone, only 2 champions have more than 1400 HP.
That is a good
Oh, that's going to be Paranoia dropped onto the Milio, but Milio was able to flash away and get the Breath of Life, and now it's going to be a front to back. Who has the stronger carries? Paint Liquor is untouched. He's free firing, but a TP coming in. Orianna is ready. Swagasm's looking. Vimstat's looking. And can they get more? Badissi could be in trouble, but taunts away.
They took half the health of 4 members of Spectre Gaming, basically teleporting in the only person with health left. That's that campfire is making everybody's life a little easier, and there's
they're still trying to look.
vision and positioning issue.
Yeah, Vimstat is being chased by your bad connection. Dr. Dad's trying to keep him away. That's going to be the mega, what is it called? The Inferno Bomb. And that's going to be Sivir's ult pop. People are low. Swagasm looking, but a huge shockwave for a 3-man, followed up by the Jinx ult. Kendrick's going to decide if she does. She gets 3 excited. And that's going to be a 3 for 2. She's looking for more. She's trying to get Last Shyvana. Can she do it? Last Shyvana flashes over the wall. And that is,
They can maybe? No, they're not. They're going to decide not to Baron. They're going to ping on the dragon.
Yeah, they're going to get Soul Point, which is a good call, I think. Baron was definitely on the table, but securing the Soul Point, especially with an Ocean Soul, when you need your carries to survive as long as possible, is huge.
Yeah, and the Jinx already with the Infinity Edge, those crits were absolutely doing work there. The only thing, and we should all thank our stars forever, is that because Infinity Edge doesn't grant crit on abilities like this is Teamfight Tactics, that Jinx Rocket can't crit because that would have killed everybody immediately.
Yeah. Now her mini rockets can crit, but that's not quite what we're looking for.
Because that big rocket hit 4 people, and if that had the ability to crit, there would not have been a team fight. There would have been a skirmish and a quadra kill.
Yeah. I'm hoping to see Jinx go for the Hurricane here just because of how tightly packed these fights have been. Because Hurricane is one of those items on Jinx that basically triples her damage when she's in rocket form.
That is very true. On top of which would allow for the possibility to get excited on people you didn't even focus fire or hit with anything. So, you know, you can't go wrong, basically.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy about that is that fight was so, I feel like LRE favored because of the amount of poke that they were getting down, and then it just turned on the dime instantly because they didn't have that Nocturne ult to secure Paint Liquor off the fight. And
absolutely.
These Paranoias have been good. They've been good on pretty squishy targets, forcing people out. But if it's not on Paint Liquor, if it's not on Learning, these two guys are doing massive amounts of damage.
Not only that, though, the paranoias that go too far, where you're trying to kill someone, and basically once you get on them, even if you had killed, there's no one else on your team who's nearby, means that you have to go in and then you have to get out, and the rest of your team either has to run in behind you, kind of face first into a machine gun in this case, or you just died to kill hopefully a priority target. I am more amazed though at the lack of tower pressure we've seen with a Sivir and a Ziggs.
Yeah.
Like normally this is so much wave pressure that you can tear teams apart with it, and we have not seen that coming out from LRE.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just mainly because they've been on the back foot for such a large portion of this game. Like, yes, the gold's been even, but it always seems like Spectre Gaming is where they want to be, whereas LRE has been doing some macro mistakes, like having 4 mid for such a long time and getting absolutely nothing out of it, minus the tier 1 that they eventually did get.
If Ziggs steps up here, he dies.
Yeah, Ziggs is in a little bit of trouble. He's going to walk right into the pink ward. That's going to be the Maokai ult drop. That's going to be a huge pick. The Shin ulti is going to get used. I felt like that's a little bit of a waste. And it gets stopped by Learning, and that could be Baron.
Yeah, that is absolutely going to be Baron for Spectre Gaming. And that vision that they have been working to set up for literally 5 minutes paid off previously.
Yeah.
And pays off big here. And on top of it, well, I guess Learning back, but Learning didn't necessarily need to back, and maybe could have continued to apply pressure there. But that is going to be the...
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's a little dangerous there, though, because they know Jordan's alive. Jordan has the paranoia, and if they're not contesting that Baron, where else can Jordan be? In the bot lane.
That is a fair point, and in fact, the correct point that I had not considered even after I was like, yeah, you got to watch out for split pushing, Nocturne. And then I'm like, what? Why didn't you just push them?
Yeah.
But you are very right, and that is the smart play by Learning. Learning
could be in trouble here. The taunt doesn't connect. The TP comes in, and that's going to be Paranoia onto Learning. They're trying to get a pick with a shockwave for massive amounts of damage, but it's not going to be enough. She pops the Hourglass. She's alive for a little bit longer, but I don't think she's going to be alive for much. But the flash to try to stay alive, but Sivir with the chase, and Sivir with the flash.
I don't know that that flash was necessary. They do get a tower, but they're going to lose at least 1 and maybe 2 or 3. Jinx already walking down in the mid lane, and that tower's not going to be long for the world, and maybe even the inhibitor tower.
Yeah.
No, that inhibitor tower's gone.
Yeah, Learning does have TP, though, so once Learning's back up, he can get back to these fights. They don't have Paranoia, though, so they're not going to be able to get on top of Paint Liquor unless they have a heroic play by Red Strike, but Red Strike wasn't able to get there. He does get pushed away by Dr. Dad, and that's going to be Flash Bone for Flash Bone. And now here comes the Maokai ulti they're looking for. The Maokai flashes forward onto the Sivir, and that's going to be Jinx getting excited once. Can she get more? Vimsat drops ultimate, but Last Shyvana flashes away. And that's going to be the inhibitor tower 1 dropping. Jinx is still excited. She's chasing for more. Her damage is insane. The Super Mega Death Rocket misses.
Just barely misses, but Medusi on the other side still fighting with Swagasm. Has to watch out. Yeah, Jinx gets excited off the inhibitor, goes to the other inhibitor tower. The other inhibitor tower goes down. Double excited now.
Yeah, now Last Shyvana's in danger. She's in trouble. Dragon's been started up by learning. This should be the soul going over while they have him corralled into their base. And that's going to be Ocean Soul 4. Spectre Gaming.
Absolutely. And you thought it was hard to get those kills finished before. It's going to be impossible now.
Yeah.
On top of which, though, the issues of just what to do and how to get the fight started well for LRE are now going to become even bigger because they don't have to for Spectre Gaming. Spectre Gaming can just kind of lie in wait.
Yeah, Spectre Gaming definitely has the front to back advantage right now. Like, not even close.
Right, but they don't have to go alone. No one should be alone. No one should be looking for anything. So it's really, really hard for Nocturne to be like, hey, well, that's a free one. We can take a 4v5 now because there should not be any free ones left.
Yeah. And notably, Jinx went with Rapid Fire Cannon, I guess to like further empower Dr. Dad's range bonus that he gives him. So I'm a little bit sad to see, but it's not the worst pickup in the world. It keeps him safe. And that's going to be the Maokai ult draft. Red Strike's going to tank that for his team. But Vinstat's looking. He gets one Cataclysm, and that's going to be Ziggs dropping while Nocturne tries to get a Paranoia onto the Jinx. He's getting the chase down, but Jinx is just so hard to kill with the Ocean Soul. And that's going to be a game-ending fight. I just have to believe it. It is now a 3 for 1, and they're going to get Medusi. So it's going to be a 4 for 1, and I don't know if your bad connection can realistically stop this push. And that's going to be your bad just dead. And that's going to be game 1 for Spectre Gaming.
Slept on there in addition to the Ocean Soul was Dr. Dad getting just enough heals down to make sure Paint Liquor, literally just enough heals, just enough movement speed there that Paint Liquor was able to kite back enough to not die. And once Nocturne didn't kill, it was over.
Yeah,
it was over.
100%. But overall, I still like the look from both teams. Both teams did a lot of work in the early game, and it just slightly fell into Spectre Gaming's favor. But I'm excited for game number 2.
I am also very excited. The one thing I will say, and I think I discounted it a little bit, is the flip side of Nocturne is that Nocturne is so conditional, right? Like if the ult does not kill, does not do enough, there's nothing else left, right? Like that's it. That's Nocturne. So it does kind of paint you into a corner like we saw. So I wonder what LRE is going to do to change that, or if they're just like, we can do the same thing, but we just need to do it harder.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it was really like, it was close until it wasn't. So maybe they're just like, oh well, we just need to add this. So I look forward to seeing what kind of permutations we're going to see for game 2.
All right. Well, we're going to swing it off to a break while we get everything ready for game number 2 between LRE and Spectre Gaming. So don't go anywhere, because this is going to be a banger.
We're back from the dead.
Hell yeah.
We're back from the dead. Back from the dead. Back from the dead.
I wonder what went wrong today, eh? Why do I feel like I linger?
All right, hello. We are in the draft for game number 2 between Spectre Gaming and LRE. If you haven't been here before, I am joined by the old sad boy, and let's see what the teams do this time. Oh my God, my tongue.
It's all right. It's all right. They attack us all. But at least for Spectre's side, I don't know that they're going to change a lot. They are still hitting the same two bands of the Tristana and the Zaya currently. I wonder if they're also going to do the Cassante. LRE, though, does ban the Jarvan, which, fair.
Yeah, 100%. That Jarvan was wreaking havoc. Vimstat, just, again, one of those key players. Like, he did struggle a little bit in the early game because of his great pathing from Jordan, but he managed to turn it around and really bring that team with the Jinx and Orianna on his back.
I mean, everybody knows I only preach from the gospel of utility. And if there's one thing we saw last game was Vimstat, even when behind, even when Nocturne was able to kill people, being able to stop these people from moving and doing what they want to do will always be useful. No one is ever sad that you can stun people and lock them down.
Yeah,
ever.
And that is what we're going to see out of Vimstat, locking in the Sejuani. So again, you get rid of his Diana, you get rid of his Jarvan, you get rid of the possibility of a Maokai flex into the jungle. He just goes straight for another champion that can lock people down.
Absolutely. And I think my opinion is that this is the better version of LRE when they do put Jordan on a big frontline utility. There we go. The Amumu for LRE.
Yeah.
Literally what I was like, are you gonna do it? I didn't want to say it while they were still picking it, because that is when they looked best. At least the four. I don't think Badissi was on the team last
No, I don't think
split.
so.
But those four looked best when Jordan was on a big team fighty engagey tank, and the damage went to top lane. Oh yeah, and the Kog'Maw.
That is going to be the Kog'Maw. Ooh, that is something that your back connection has been very good on. Like, it's very hard to kill him. He has like one of the best positioning out of all the 80 carries, and when he can position well and has the front line to keep him safe, that Kog'Maw is going to wreak havoc. But we have a Draven hover. That would be very interesting to see.
This is a LR. So they played a variation of this comp, I think 4 or 5 times last split.
Yeah.
And it is nasty. So I am very worried, wondering if SG is SG also has 5 players who played last split. I wonder if they're going, hang on now. We've seen this.
Yeah, the Draven lock-in is pretty deadly for Kog'Maw, but if Kog'Maw can scrape by that lane and not fall behind too much, that Draven is going to be feeling pretty useless. And the Syndra as well for Spectre Gaming, a champion...
Hang on.
What's up?
I don't want to say anything. I was expecting a pick that didn't come through, but it is a Zera.
Does it start
Sorry,
with
I
an
didn't
L?
mean. I'm not saying nothing until we see picks.
But this is pretty dangerous for the Kog'Maw already. The Draven and the Syndra both have extremely high single targeted damage, and a Mumu might not be enough to stop that.
That is fair. That is very fair. And on top of which, Sejuani does get good backline access, even with a frontline like in a Mumu. So questions being posed to the LRE comp, basically, which is I mean, I don't want to say it out loud. Your bad, I said, your bad connection literally came on here and detailed, like, literally, if we run this, good luck.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's why I'm like, is this really happening again? Like, they were like, last time didn't work. Let's go back to the fastball. Knuckleball wouldn't have.
That's gonna be a Tom Kitch ban. They. Oh. Oh no! No! Do they lock it in?
It's.
They have to lock it in now. Like, if they're going to do it, it has to be now. Why would you reveal your top laner? Come on, guys.
I mean, that is also
lock in
true.
Something. Lock in a support.
I need it.
And that's going to be a Renata.
I need it.
It's not.
No.
It's not Lulu. It's not Lulu. The pride and joy of Kog'Maw is Lulu.
No, it was the Milio. They were the first team last split to break out the Kog'Maw Milio because it has so much range. So much range.
So the danger with Milio in that lane is, since you don't see the enemy support, there's a lot of picks that can really mess up a Milio, like a Blitzcrank. If they locked in Milio here and they went Blitzcrank, it would have been over for that bot. Renata's a little bit better at kind of mitigating the Blitzcrank. Like, you're not going to stop the hooks, but you have the revive to kind of keep the fight going. But, like, bread and butter is Kog'Maw Lulu. Bread and butter is Kog'Maw
That is
Lulu.
also true.
Like,
that is also true, and they did run that last split. But yeah, your bad connection basically said, we run an artillery mage, Kog'Maw, Milio for the range, or Lulu, Jordan on a Mumu, and a bruiser topside. And that he literally came on and was like, this is what we're gonna do, and this is the best way to play the game. And I was so sure that they were just gonna run that exact comp back, and it's not the exact comp, but it's still a problem. Like, yeah. No, this is very much in line with your bad connection's vision for League of Legends that he is proclaimed. The same way I preach from the gospel of utility, he preaches from the gospel of this exact comp, which is 2 frontliners, an artillery mage, and an enchanter, and a hyper carry.
I do not like this. I'm not gonna lie. I think LRE kind of dropped the ball on this draft. They have some minor synergies here, but like they gave an Ornn over to SG when they could have locked that in if they were already planning to lock in a tank. They locked in a very interesting support that paired with the Kog'Maw, not the best thing in the world, against a team like Dr. Dad's known for playing these like crazy hooks or full engage supports. Like, it is so dangerous for them, and I think SG has dominated the draft here. Like, I'm not saying that LRE is going to lose by any stretch of the means. They're on a lot of comfort champions, and they've shown time and time again that they can perform on these champions, but it is going to be so hard.
I do agree with you. I think SG has a better comp, and on top of which, most of their champions have I should be able to just win this matchup advantage available to them.
Yeah, like,
right?
The only tough matchup is probably the Ornn Cho'Gath, just because Ornn is relatively slow, so Cho'Gath can get a lot of damage with his Qs. But late game, you can't stop the Ornn ult from coming in. You can't stop the Sejuani from going into you unless a Mumu suicide bombs for the Sedge, but if you're solo ulting Sejuani, you're not really doing what a Mumu needs to be doing. And I don't know in what world Xerath is ever going to come out on top of this lane. He might go even just because of his massive range, but if Sejuani ever goes mid, Xerath is not a champion to get away from a Syndra. Like, it is going to be so hard.
Yes. That is probably the start of my, I don't like where we wound up. So with the Xerath and the Cho'Gath, both of which, again, they function differently, but they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Once they decide where they want to be in this team fight, they aren't repositioning.
Yeah, like
that is my first worry, is that like you have no speed ups and you have two people who, once you avoid them or get to where you want to be in regards to them, you don't have to worry about them.
if there was, there's two things that I would have liked to see different here from LRE, and like we're in it, right? But I had the wrong thing pulled up. The Xerath's fine, sure, but I feel like La Shyvana is a very powerful Ziggs player, and Ziggs, again, wasn't banned, and Ziggs is one of the champions that can buffer CC to avoid Syndra or Sejuani engages, just because his W is a bufferable ability like Tristana. And honestly, I would have liked to see a different top. I don't even mind the Renata. I think Renata's good, especially with the fact that if Kog'Maw does get caught out and you resurrect him, he still has a chance to make an impact on the fight. But if you're planning to go for a tank, why not just take the Ornn, right? Like, have a full idea of what you're walking into in that bot lane and take the Ornn, because Ornn just doesn't die to anything except for like a Gwyn.
Yes. Yes. I also just feel like there's kind of there's an anti-synergy at parts where like, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I will be ultimately just off, but I think for what Amumu, Kog'Maw, and maybe Cho'Gath want to do is kind of different from where Xerath and Renata kind of want to play. Like, Renata is one of the best anti-engage champions in the game.
Yeah.
Like Xerath wants to also kind of somewhere in that neutral game to kiting back and then finish them off after they've been low.
Yeah.
That's not where the other two are going to play. Like Kog'Maw is not the best kiting ADC, obviously. In fact,
his kiting's pretty decent.
But don't you? I mean, his kiting is decent, but isn't it the issue that you lose, or I don't know if they changed it. There's been so many Kog'Maw changes. I have indeed forgotten some of them. It wasn't it that you lose a significant portion of his DPS by moving in the middle of team fights at this point?
No. That was old Kog'Maw a while back.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not as bad. But yeah, I definitely see what you're talking about. And even then, like the Mumu and Cho'Gath synergy, I just feel like a Mumu Ornn is just so much more synergetic, like for what you're trying to do in terms of like full engage. Like Cho'Gath doesn't really have the greatest follow up in the world.
Right.
He's a pretty slow champion. But
right, yeah, exactly.
But I'm gonna have to cut us off there. I'm gonna send us off to a break while we load into the Rift for game number 2 between SG and LRE. We'll be back in approximately 2 minutes, so don't go anywhere and get ready for the Battle of the Ages. All right, we are loaded onto the Rift for game number 2 between Spectre Gaming and Lexi's Rat Emporium. Old Sad Boy, are you ready?
I am.
All right, 3, 2, 1, 11, 12, 13.
Yep.
All right. Immediately, while we were loading into that Rift, there was a lot of pings onto Dr. Dad, so LRE is expecting to invade here, and that is exactly what both teams are positioning for, so we might be having a little bit of a bloodbath level 1.
Oh yeah, they are headed. Both going to the same place too. Oh no. Oh, they warded it instead of standing there.
Yeah, I don't know if LRE wants to take this. I don't, like, even if they know that they're coming, like, this is dangerous.
They are standing in the famous "Your Bad Connection" bush.
Oh, a nice Q there and a triple knockup, and that is going to be Swag-Asm brought super low. Dr. Dad misses the hook, and now they're just going to be walking out. Paint Liquor could be in danger. Flash forward by Cho'Gath to get the knockup onto Vimstat. Vimstat is not really in danger, though, so it's going to be 2 flashes for 1. And that is a great start for LRE.
Yeah, getting the flash off of Paint Liquor is so important because it also does mute some of the murder potential for that Draven for the next 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So you already made your lane a little bit safer just by countering their invade,
Yeah.
which everyone's happy on if you're on LRE.
Yeah, the only downside, or the only upside for Spectre Gaming is Dr. Dad does have Hex Flash, so it's not like the end of the world for the Blitzcrank. He can still look for some potential hooks, some potential flashy plays. And Swag-Asm does have the flash advantage in the top side, and Sejuani's pretty good at ganking melee top laners just because of the permafrost passive that can be brought down a lot faster. So Badusi's going to have to be a little bit careful here.
Right. I mean, there is the potential for, especially in the first few levels, Cho'Gath, the other Void monster, to basically wind up CC'd to death, right? Between the knockup, the brittle, the charge, the stun from permafrost, you can just not let Kog'Maw move and kill him.
Yeah. You mean Cho'Gath?
Yes. Dang it. I mean, that potential does exist for Kog'Maw later, but for right now, a gank on the next rotation before that flashes back up could be a problem.
Yeah, 100%. But Vimstat did pass to the bot side, so Badusi will be safe for a little while Last Shyvana is getting a little bit beaten up here, and it's kind of like what we were saying earlier. Xerath is not the greatest champion into Syndra. Syndra has so much high damage, she has a lot of abilities that you need to avoid, and Xerath is just not a champion known for doing that.
Absolutely agree, but this wave position is terrible for Your Bad Connection. Does back off, understandably so, but yeah, that is the worry basically that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Badusi taking some rough trades in the top side.
Yeah, all of that advantage and health gone in one trade. Ornn is a very balanced champion.
Ooh, but
Let me
can he
tell
get
you
a
what.
trade? Ooh, Swag-Asm brought super low. And now Jordan's here on learning, but Vimstat is also here for a counter gank potential. But Vimstat starts his back. Could there be danger?
Oh, he took a tower
Jordan's
shot.
gets shot, but the Jordan Q misses.
Oh!
And a kill. Oh, wait, there's a lot happening in the bot side. That's going to be first blood going over to the Draven, but Your Bad Connection picks up the trade.
No.
Or no, to the
No, it went
Blitzcrank.
to the Blitzcrank.
Ah.
Oh, that's rough. The bailout was almost enough there. Almost enough for Red Strike to survive. That was such a tight fight.
And now...
Very nicely played there by Dr. Dad with the Hex Flash.
Yeah, Swag-Asm needs to be careful here. They should know that Amumu is in the top side jungle. They hit the blue plant with some great damage from learning, and that's going to be Last Shyvana popping the flash. But now Swag-Asm is in trouble, but Badusi takes a rough trade, and Jordan has to go in to save him.
Oh my goodness, these top lane fights.
Oh, and Jordan
no.
the Qs are not connecting where they need to connect. And Riot, fix this bug that you have. I'm sick and tired of seeing 9999. The Summoner's Rift does not have health.
Clearly it does. It takes damage. If you can damage it, you can kill it.
Eventually, the whole map just falls apart and both teams lose.
Everyone loses. I mean, we're playing League of Legends. I think we've already lost. But oh my goodness, that's not a trade you want to take,
Yeah,
even
that
with the advantage.
Yeah, that was a 2v1, and Paint Liquor still came out on top there.
That's the power of Draven. He wants to be playing League of Legends. He just wants to change the name a little bit. But we do get the boots coming in for your bad connection for obvious reasons. You got to get away from that hook there.
Yeah.
It's gonna be 2 long swords. Oh man. Ooh, very nice stun. That was gonna be a dead Xerath, I think, otherwise.
Yeah, it was definitely looking dangerous, especially with Learning being level 6. Learning has to be careful here, though, because if Flash finally gets ultimate, he could get sniped from off the screen. And Swagasm just looking for more and more trades. He drops the ultimate, Call of Forge Rod going down. Sejuani is here, gets the knockup down before he gets knocked up, and now Badussi is in danger. I don't think he can get away from this. His flash is up, but it's just too little too late. He does spot the flash, but the permafrost does go through for the stun, and that's going to be a kill going over to Vimstat.
You got to silence him there. You have to silence him. You have to, once you see that the Ornn hits level 6, you have to save your silence for that exact situation.
He was trying to save his knockup to do it, but the knockup just came in a smidgen too late.
The knockup has too long a cast time. Like, you have to be so good to get the knockup to go through in that instance.
Yeah, and Dr. Dad
just the
freezing the wave. But now he's turning on a Red Strike. Red Strike could be in danger. Paint Liquor is here. The Ignite goes down. And I think Red Strike got a little greedy there. His team isn't here, but Draven has the... Wait, Draven does have the flash, but he doesn't continue on. And now Learning's trying to stop this dragon, but he's not going to be able to. And that's going to be the first dragon of the game going over to LRE.
There are...
I felt like Paint Liquor could have kept going there. I felt like that Renata should have been dead.
I definitely thought that was going to be a kill, but okay. I mean, okay. That's the best way I can put that. I also don't understand Red Strike there. I understand you want to, hey, the enemy support is holding this wave, taking super damage. Let's make it worse. But 1, you know that the Blitzcrank with Hex Slash. 2, the second someone comes near, and you know your team is not near, he's gonna do Blitzcrank things. That's just
dangerous.
What did you think was gonna happen? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Oh man,
right,
but Dizzy General's not having a fun time now.
Yeah, let's see what happens. Like, he does still have kill threat onto this Ornn because of the ultimate, but it's gonna be rough. But that's gonna be Glacial Prison going down onto your back connection. Your back connection is gonna be able to ghost and get away, but the hook under Red Strike does potentially secure the kill here, and that's gonna be a kill with that 323 gold cash in for the Draven.
Yeah, that's just... Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
oh, Lashavana's in danger here. He's going to be brought down to 1 HP. The Q hits, and that's going to be a solo kill for Learning.
This is what I thought was going to happen here. Like, that's the only... Like, there's not a lot of escape possibilities available for LRE, and now there's a collapse coming on this top side.
Yeah, that's going to be the knockup on into Badussi. Badussi's brought super low. Blitzcrank could rotate up here, but he's going to help secure the Herald instead, which is fine.
More importantly, they forced Jordan off the Herald. Jordan is not level 6. Vimstat has already hit level 6. I understand that he already used the ult, but that's still a gold difference, a level difference, already a functioning difference, basically, for Vimstat that is going to wind up transferring to somewhere, and it looks like it's going to be maybe top lane.
Yeah.
Jordan hanging out nearby.
Jordan is here, though. Swagasm misses the knockup, but they shouldn't. I think he saw Jordan there. But the call of the force shot's going to go down. Can he get the knockup? He does secure it, and that's going to be a solo kill for Swagasm with the flash forward by Jordan to get the ultimate and the kill. It's going to be a one-for-one trade, but I think the style points have to go over to Swagasm.
Again, that's what I'm saying. You can't save the knockup for that. It takes too long to go through. They're trying to hunt down Paint Liquor. Paint Liquor sidesteps though.
A little bit in danger. He's trying to dodge. The handshake gets cleansed, and that's going to be Paint Liquor brought down to 50 HP. And Last Shyvana could be. Oh no, that was. I thought Vimstat was Jordan for a second.
She is going to be spotted. Okay, Learning looked like she was going to. Looked like the Cinder was going to come down, but is going to just clear out the pink ward. But just. I think there's a
hook onto Red Strike. Red Strike could be in trouble. The Ignite with the ultimate's going to go down, and that's going to be Red Strike ticking. Does he die? He does. The fadeaway by Blitzcrank.
So much of what LRE is doing is the bad things.
Yeah.
All of them. All at once. He's going to get knocked up. Like, I don't... You know how sometimes when you're in solo queue and you get a champ or a teammate and you're like, you don't really know this matchup or this champion.
That's going to be the Glacial Prison on to La Shyvana and a kill for Learning. Great gank there by Vimstat.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Vimstat now level 8, Jordan level 7. Jordan still not really able to get out and affect the map. And we're having this problem happening here where the acceleration is going to come in. Kog'Maw may never come online.
Especially with Paint Liquor already getting one full cash-in. Like, yeah, he died early, but the cash-in was still great. Now your back connection gets hit by the hook, and he's going to have to pop the heal here, and the hostile takeover is going to go, and it's going to get some nice damage, but it's not going to be enough.
I keep trying to check how many feast stacks. Okay, Badusi does have 3 feast stacks. I think used them all on minions, though. He definitely used them all on minions. 100%. I don't know why I said I think. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just trying to get as much HP as possible.
They have taken no objectives, and he has no kills, so...
Oh, and that's going to be the call of the Forge Rod going down, and that's going to be the flash blown by the Cho'Gath, and he's still going to die, I think. Swagasm gets the snipe with the Q. Another solo kill going for the Ornn.
You can't use the second he used the silence, Swagasm was like, yep, got him. Like, you have to understand that. Like, I feel, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to pile on, but it's
detrimental.
It's detrimental. It's a matchup knowledge thing. Like, you have to know this matchup. You counterpicked into this matchup. And you're not doing the thing that is the only reason why you can play this matchup. That's what's confusing me. This was your last pick.
Yeah, and it is not proving useful, that's for sure. Not yet, anyways. So that's going to be the second dragon of the game, going to Spectre Gaming, 1-for-1 on the dragons. So no crazy soul stackings happening quite yet, and it's going to be an Infernal Soul. And if Learning and Draven can get that, that's going to be a lot of damage. A flash on a Learning there by La Shyvana, but La Shyvana might have misplayed. Does he get the kill? They get the 1-for-1 trade, and now it's Jordan versus Vimstat. But Dr. Dad is here. The Glacial Prison goes down, and that's going to be a kill for the Draven. That's an extra 333 gold. This Draven is getting fed.
Why? Why? Just why? Okay.
I respect what La Shyvana did. It was a good play, but he couldn't. He ulted right in front of her, and that was the one misstep there.
That's the why. That's a big why. Ulting right there is a huge why. I don't. She can interrupt you. She has a spell to interrupt you, a basic spell, not an ultimate.
Yeah.
A basic spell that can interrupt you, and you're also within kill range.
All right.
So why? And then why did Jordan take the second Q in?
Yeah.
Why?
A potential dive here. A TP's going to come out from the Cho'Gath to ensure that your back connection and Red Strike are safe, and that's going to give Ornn a lot of free time on that top tower.
Yeah, Ornn's going to take that tower out, or at least should. I mean, I understand that they are playing for Kog'Maw is the win condition, which it is true.
I mean, Kog'Maw is down 1,500 gold because of these cash-ins.
It's not Kog'Maw's fault.
Yeah. Oh, a flash by Dr. Dad, but it doesn't result in a hook landing.
That's the only thing I can say. Kog'Maw hasn't caused any of the cash-ins, but yes, it's. I don't like any of the decision making we've seen from LRE. On the other side, SG, like I don't want to discount what's going on, but they've gotten a lot of kills that basically are thank you. Like,
Yeah.
you know, they've made the right play, but it's not that they've made it necessarily a great play, except for that the Hex Flash hook by Dr. Dad, that was a great play. But so much as they've just kind of walked forward with their lead.
Yeah, they've been there when LRE drops some mistakes.
Right, they've capitalized on the mistakes, which is its own sort of skill. Don't ever get me wrong, but it's just LRE also just seems to kind of just be doing stuff.
Oh, we have a Hex Flash by the Blitzcrank. Dr. Dad's looking for La Shyvana. I don't think he's going to be able to get away. The knockup does connect. The hook should connect, and that's going to be a kill for Learning, and that should be the Herald for Spectre Gaming. It is
Vimstat
looking
was
rough.
spotted over on everything.
Yeah, but I don't think I think La Shyvana had the range to get away from Vimstat. He did not know that Dr. Dad was there for the Hex Flash, though. And that's going to be Learning picking up a kill onto Red Strike, but Learning could be in danger. Your bad connection chasing. He flashes forward, but gets pushed away, and that's going to be a double kill for the Shyvana with the tower picked up by Paint Liquor. And now Jordan's in trouble here. I don't think Jordan, you don't take this. It is a fed Draven. And that's another 300 gold basically on a cash-in. This guy's 3 kills are the equivalent of 6. And the call of the Forge God onto Badussi General. Badussi General gets knocked up. He does have the permafrost. He gets stunned up. He's not going to be able to get away from this. He doesn't have flash quite yet. The glacial prison goes down. Can he do it? Can he get away? He's trying. He has 1 HP, but Vimstat commits to the kill. A flash over by Swagasm to try to get La Shyvana, but it's not enough.
Ult now! I don't understand.
I think they're a little tilted, and I think it's getting in their heads.
Okay. So when the tower's going down and Jordan's there, Jordan has the ult to clear the wave. You have to clear the wave and ult at the same time so that Draven takes tower damage before you Q the Draven. On the other side, I understand why from your bad connection. There's a shutdown. He's literally an auto away. But that flash in from a Kog'Maw, is the most dangerous thing you can possibly think of.
Yeah. But at this point of the game, when you're down this much gold, you got to make these risky plays. It's your only hope. And their risky plays are just not paying off. I mean, Jordan tried to 1v1 the Draven to get the shutdown. Didn't. Almost had it, but wasn't enough. Your back connection tried to flash forward to get a shutdown on Learning. Again, wasn't enough. And it's just been tragedy after tragedy for this team.
I think we saw this last game. The same thing where they traded way too much for like a tower and lost half their base. Or maybe I'm just hallucinating.
I think that was, yeah, kind of. They got bot tower last game and lost 3 towers in response.
Yeah, with the Rift Herald. Yeah, nope, same game. Nope, I'm not misremembering. That did happen. I just have questions.
Yeah, Dr. Dad is here. He's looking for a potential hook, and they're trying to get this blue buff, and they do with the Syndra W. And they are up a whopping 9,000 gold. It is, oof.
So, my belief is you just have to turtle for, you got 15 minutes. Turtle for 15 minutes. And hope the Kog'Maw can go.
I mean, Draven.
How do you get to there?
Draven is up 3,000 gold alone. Syndra is up 2,000. Everyone's up basically 2,000 or more, and it is just it's hard. It's going to be hard for them to ever come back from this, especially when the Dragons are going to always go into Spectre Gaming's, and it's an Infernal Soul, something that's super powerful on champions like Syndra, like Draven, who have these super high burst kits.
I would like to point out also the vision we haven't seen from.
Oh, that's going to be called the
SG
Forge Dog
or
going
from
down
LRE.
onto a double knockup, and this could be Red Strike's life lost, and that's going to be him dead while Jordan tried to save him, but Jordan gets hooked with the 3-man ultimate, but is it going to be enough? I don't think so. The Draven ult comes out, Jordan doesn't die, and now Your Back Connection is trying to do work, but Your Back Connection gets outplayed by the outplay button. A flash forward by Badussi to get the chomp onto Draven for the shutdown, and that's going to be a 3 for 2 in favor of 4 for 2 in favor of Spectre Gaming.
Yeah, that 15 minutes isn't happening.
Yeah, I don't think it's happening. This Syndra 9-1. This Syndra 3-0. Draven 3-2, but he's basically 6-2 with cash-ins.
I didn't even mention the fact that, of course, Ornn items, which are now coming in.
Yeah, that's like an extra
We-
1,000 gold per item.
We have slept on those, and that's another problem that's going to have to be overcome. It's going to be a rough time. A very rough time. I don't think LRE... I don't think they're going to have enough time to get there. There was a flash ultimate from Badussi, though, that did kill the Draven, so...
But
benefit.
Badussi isn't the one you want the kills on. It's the only downside.
Agreed, but
Gold is
not
gold.
the one you want the kills on, but
Yeah.
you want the kills at this point.
Yeah, 100%.
Your options were that or nothing, so way to go. Way to make no.
Yeah, Badussi is trying to fight Swagasm, but Swagasm has 2 levels on Badussi. He could be in
2
danger.
levels and a whole item and an Ornn upgrade of
Oh, and
Yeah.
Lashavana is going to try to get here, but the Baron has been started up by Spectre Gaming. Swagasm's just here toying with him, make sure he doesn't die, and that's going to be the Baron secured by Vimstat.
Oof. I thought that hook was gonna land too. Yeah, Swagasm is basically unkillable. We're 22 minutes into the game, and he has, if it'll ever show me, 214 magic resist.
Yeah, and he's playing against quadruple AP, basically. Like, yeah, Your Bad Connection is AD, but most of his damage comes from that W, which is all magic damage.
You don't ever really see it like this, and this is, yeah. I mean, there is the Bork. The Bork could, in theory, do damage.
Yeah.
But that is just a really, really, really tanky friend.
That's also assuming that that learning just doesn't do the outplay button with unleash power and just destroy Your Bad Connection. Your Bad Connection's 4 levels down onto learning and a whole 2 items basically.
Right. It's yeah. I would like to refer back to what we said in Champ Select about how much of LRE's comp is question mark pings,
Yeah.
because we have now come to the consequence of those decisions, and it looks like the consequence is going to be Spectre Gaming with a win.
Yeah, but
because
Jordan is in danger here. She's going to get chased down. The hostile takeover only hits Vimstat, and now Badussi is trying to do some work, but he's not going to be able to do enough. He gets a Devourer, gets another shutdown onto Badussi, but your Cogmo is right there. That shutdown was in his hands. And now Learning's trying to look for more. Draven gets a 1 cash in onto Cho'Gath, and it's now going to be a 4 for 4, or 4v4.
Cogmo wasn't going to be able to put down that 1200 damage that you needed right there. Oh no, Jordan missed.
Yeah, Jordan misses the Q and gets knocked up, and that's going to be Dr. Dad, possibly dead. It's going to be a trade, so it's a 2 for 2. 3v3, can they hold on? Red Strike's in danger. Red Strike's low. Your Back Connection has the bailout on top of him. That's going to be 1 kill. The bailout gets popped, and that's going to be Your Back Connection getting dropped. Can he get the kill, though, onto Paint Liquor? No, he can't.
No.
And that's going to be 2 inhibitors. I think Swagasm can get the 3rd, and that's going to be the Dragon in response as well. They tried.
Alright.
They did try, but it's just it's a little too late.
They made it 6 minutes. They just gotta go another day or not. Yeah.
Well, I hate to crush your dreams, but Swagasm has got a theme as chains, and I can only assume that's gonna go into Kog'Maw. So Kog'Maw's really not gonna be doing damage with that Blade of the Ruin King.
Okay. So, all you have to do is hope that you did enough damage to the rift that the game ends. We've seen the means of the mechanic this whole time for how LRE is gonna come back. That is...
Swagasm level 16. He has so many Ornn items to give, actually. He hasn't given his team a single Ornn item. Time out.
He's hoarding them.
You only get stronger with the more you give, Ornn.
I think he's like, I think we're strong enough, guys. You're good. You're good. But Disney does have almost 4,000 HP.
Yeah, this
there's
could
the
be
Leandry's
dude.
limit.
The HP doesn't matter. This Draven is shredding him. Vinsat goes forward, gets the freeze onto Jordan, but it's the hostile takeover. Tries to hit 3, but it isn't gonna do anything, and that's gonna be another kill. It's gonna be 3 for nothing. It's probably gonna be an ace here. Red Strike is gonna die. He does have the bailout. Oh, he doesn't die. The healing though, but that is gonna be the game. That is gonna be the series for Spectre Gaming. Great showing by this team.
Very good. Just absolutely dismantled LRE like some sort of, I don't know, medical experiment lab. Went to the Rat Emporium and was like, hey buddy, you're not gonna like what I have in store.
All right. Well, it comes down now. It comes down to the time. Who is the MVP for this series?
That is a great question. My thoughts are, I'm hearing Paint Liquor from the chat.
Paint
My
Liquor?
initial thought was Vimstat, but that's a good point. Paint Liquor did go absolutely hammers. Also learning did stupid amounts of work in both games. Dr. Dad, you don't get a vote. That's... I mean, I'm open to whomever.
All right, we'll go with Paint Liquor. Let's see if we can get him in. Hopefully Maria's there.
This is dangerous. Good job.
Do you have drag power? Oh, I have drag powers. Oh my god, I can drag
Yes.
people. Ha ha!
You didn't know?
No, I didn't. All right, welcome Paint Liquor. I hope this is Paint Liquor. I can only assume.
This is me. This is me.
All right, welcome. Congratulations on your win against Lexi's Rat Emporium, a pretty tough opponent. You had some pretty insane games on the Jinx and on the Draven. How did it feel going into those games? How did the drafts go? Did everything go to how you guys planned it?
Drafting, we felt pretty confident. Game 1, we were actually trying to play into the Rel pick. We were expecting it from them, and so we banned Thresh to sort of look for that, right? We felt like Milio was pretty good. Just if he can land Qs, I know it was a little rough sometimes in lane for him landing the Milio Qs on the Rel. But once we started landing those, we felt really good. We felt really locked in. But yeah, drafting Game 1 felt really good.
Yeah, and it was a little scary for you guys. The Nocturne Shin, a very powerful combo, especially for an immobile AD carry like Jinx. I was a little concerned with the Milio pick in general. Like, yes, it's a good match for Rel, but I felt like if your whole sense was to keep Jinx safe, which is you, I would have liked to see a Lulu. So you mentioned the Milio pick into the Rel, but did you guys take into account the Nocturne and Shin, or do you just trust that your team was going to be able to keep them shut down long enough for you?
Yeah, I would say so. We felt pretty confident that as long as we could get through laning phase, I feel like Lulu or any other enchantress we're not as strong on, and we would kind of get rolled over in lane. But we felt like if we could get through the lane with Milio, and he has his cleanse, ult, and heal, along with peel from Jarvan or even Ori, we felt pretty good protecting the Jinx there. But typically, yeah, that would be an issue.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Ulta, boy, do you have any questions?
I have multiple questions. One of them absolutely not league related. So we're gonna open with that one. You sound super clear. What microphone are you using?
I got an Audio Technica AT2020 on sale a while back,
Nice.
and this is about 4 years old, and it's still been working. But I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, just because we are used to getting people in here who are using headset mics, and I was like, oh, this sounds fantastic.
Thank
Uh,
you.
so yeah, that was just my first initial thought once you came in the chat. But in the midst of all of all of the chaos, because you again were definitely under threat game one, kind of what were the comms? Because there was definitely, especially game one. I apologize. I don't want to discount game two, but I imagine it was a little less stressful than game one. But game one, there was a couple times where it definitely looked like the fight was going to go not your way, and then it was like we're losing until we're winning. You know, how was the team environment? Because yeah, you were taken super low a couple times from Nocturnal, uh, and I think there was one fight that you were nocturned. That's life. You
Yep.
know, so how did the team kind of deal with the fact that it was like, hey, life is not good right now? You know, was everybody still keeping a good energy, or was there just panic, but you guys are just really really good at panicking?
I would say honestly, I would say the latter. We're probably good at panicking there. We were pretty confident that as long as we had some of our abilities up on each champ, that we'd be able to keep the Jinx alive. That last fight with Nocturne ulting me and everybody throwing their abilities on me was pretty lucky. I just sort of kited back and autoed and hope that maybe I'd chunk him low enough, and it ended up working out. But in other instances, we were pretty confident with our peel. Milio gives so much move speed with his abilities, and even the item that he built, right, like that Shirelia's, that it felt pretty good.
Okay, okay, understandable. And then, so in game two, obviously you wound up just insane amounts of gold, uh,
hmm
by nature of the game and Draven. What were you gonna build next?
What was I gonna build next? I was gonna
There's
build.
a long sword, and I just that was it, that was my only question about game two. I apologize, but
Yeah,
y'all answered a lot of questions.
yeah. So I was gonna go. I mean, I was gonna go Lord Dominic's, but I realized it would probably be funnier to build QSS. Not just funnier, but probably just better. And so I was just gonna hold on to the longsword until the end of time, until I finish like a QSS, and then maybe finish LDRs. But yeah, LDRs was the intention there.
Yeah.
Understandable.
All right. One last question before we do have to swing the stream off to an end. I have a question about the Draven. I am a
Yeah.
Draven main, so I'm curious about your build path here. I am personally not a fan of the Triforce build, but what opted you to do the Triforce build versus the standard crit build that you see with Infinity Edge, or the Ghostblade build for that extra movement speed and mobility in those fights? Why the Triforce build?
Yeah, and so at the beginning of the season I actually did go the Essence Reaver Infinity Edge build. I think is what's usually typical, and I sort of pivoted to the Triforce build, and I found that it's a lot better for two reasons, or actually I'd say three reasons. I mean, one, the move speed. Triforce gives move speed when you hit champions or just people in general. And so it's really nice to kite, and it's flat move speed. You see his W giving percentage move speed.
Mm-hmm.
Two, the tankiness. Triforce gives a lot of HP, and Draven is usually sort of in there, um, hitting people. And three, a thing that I don't think a lot of people know about is Draven's crit damage on his axes is calculated from his base AD. His axe damage doesn't actually add to it.
Mm-hmm.
So Infinity Edge is less efficient in that regard. And Infinity, I'm saying Infinity Force. I'm looking at the items here in that match history. Triforce gives base AD, which actually goes towards his crits, which he appreciates AD in any form, but I feel
Yeah.
like base AD helps him in that regard as well.
Have you tried the Ghostblade build with the Ghostblade buffs that's been happening?
So I have not. I'd expect that it's pretty good too, but I feel like it'd be in a similar vein as that Essence Reaver Infinity Edge build. If they were super squishy, I'd definitely consider it. But just for any game, I think this Triforce build works super
Yeah.
fantastic because it gives them a lot of sustain, tankiness, and move speed.
Yeah, the reason why I don't like the Triforce build is just because of the lack of I'm a big Draven W spammer when it comes to
Hmm.
trades and stuff, and you run out of mana pretty fast, but you managed
Hmm.
to hold your mana pretty well throughout those team fights. So obviously it wasn't too much of a struggle for yourself. But yeah, do you have any shout outs before we end stream? Anyone that you wanna that's watching or any of your team members?
I'd like to shout out. You know what? Not Vimstat. He's not getting too much airtime. I'd like to give a shout out to Dr. Dad, my support for piloting Milio, for landing his Q most of the times, and for flaming Vimstat a little bit, giving him a little crap. Gotta keep
Dr.
him in check.
Dead did want you to know that his Amelia was deathless. Now, you could point out to him that that's because no one wanted to hit Emilio. They're literally not aiming for him. But that also means he managed to avoid standing directly on top of your character.
Yep.
All right, well,
You know,
that is all we have time for. Thank you for joining us, Paint Liquor, and thank you, Old Sad Boy, for co-casting with me. Tomorrow for the games of Day 2, Week 5, we have Dynasty Sapphire versus BBC at 6 p.m. EST and Elysium Terra versus FFZ at 9 p.m. EST. The game to look out for is probably going to be that ET versus FFZ. Xanathai has made some tragic claims saying that his team is going to 2-1 Elysium Terra because it is in the cards, so we're just going to have to wait and find out. But we will see you guys all tomorrow, and thank you for the support that you give Black Twitch League. Goodbye.
Very much so.